So apparently all the Swifties are freaking out because Taylor Swift's boyfriend, NFL superstar Travis Kelce, liked an Instagram post of Donald Trump and Sage Steele together. So a lot of them thinking, oh my goodness, he's not going to vote for Donald Trump. And I don't know if he is or he isn't. All I know is they're freaking out over this one post. But I find it interesting, and a couple things we need to point out here. Number one, Sage Steele was she is an African-American reporter, great reporter, beautiful woman for ESPN. And they fired her because she would not get the jab. And they had a jab policy that all their employees had to get the jab. So they fired her for that. And it's interesting because Travis Kelce was Pfizer's spokesman. You know, he was like on all those commercials. Now, a lot of these guys, they're not political at all. They're just, hey, commercial for, I'm sure he got paid a lot of money, so maybe it was just for the money, but even a broken clock is right twice. He also advertised for Bud Light when Bud Light went gay. So, but again, I'm sure Bud Light paid him a lot of money. So, he may not care either way about the politics or the ideology of these companies. But even more interesting, I'm noticing a change in a lot of people. So Taylor Swift is like an ultra liberal, voted for Biden. In fact, the Biden campaign brought her to the White House and asked her to campaign, and she agreed. And she said she's going to do everything in her power to get Trump not elected. She hates Donald Trump, apparently. But people change. I just seen a video this morning of Chris Cuomo. If you remember Chris Cuomo, he was on CNN, and he was mocking all the Americans that were using ivermectin. And there were like thousands of doctors saying this works, and he made fun of, he laughed at Joe Rogan because Joe Rogan said it helped him like within 24 hours. His COVID was gone, all his symptoms was gone. He felt great. And they mocked him and said, oh, this is, horse medicine. They're using animal medicine, which is ridiculous. It's been used, for 50, 60 years, over 1 billion people use it. But just like the antibiotics, animals use antibiotics and humans use antibiotics. I mean, so you're going to say if you take antibiotics, oh, you're taking horse medicine. It was a ridiculous argument. I've seen what they were doing. I've been fighting this fight for over 30 years. I know their schemes. And I knew why they were doing it, because it was a generic drug. The CDC and the FDA are in bed with the pharmaceutical companies. 80% of the funding to these companies, to the CDC and the FDA, come from big pharma. They don't come from taxpayers. They come from big pharma. And the amount they do get from the taxpayers, big pharmas are lobbying the congressmen to back them up on this. So a generic drug, it was like 10 cents a pill. Instead, the FDA said, no, it doesn't work. They approved another medicine that was like, I forget the name of it, but it was like $20,000 because it was brand new, and it proved that didn't work. And they had thousands of doctors saying ivermectin worked. So anyway, Chris Cuomo just made a video yesterday saying that he has long COVID, and he was wrong. Ivermectin works. He's been taking ivermectin every day for months now, and he apologized for making fun of Joe Rogan. So I think there's a shift. So, you have the people at the top of the Democrat Party that have an agenda, but then you have a bunch of useful idiots like Chris Cuomo was and just believes the bull crap, but they're sincere. And he sincerely looked for something to make him feel better, and he realized, wow, he was lied to. And he even said he knows that they knew it worked because he's talked to dozens of doctors. And he said, yeah, they knew it worked, but they weren't allowed to say it worked. And if you remember, another thing, they were pushing the jab, and they, usually it takes like 15 years for a jab to get approved, but if there's an emergency situation, you can get approved quicker. So they got it approved in like a year. But if there was any medicine that could cure the disease that the vaccine was supposedly created to prevent, then they couldn't get that approval. So, of course, Fauci, who made a couple $100 million on this jab, said, no, this is garbage. They don't work. They don't work. They don't work. And now they're all admitting it worked because Pfizer and Moderna and Johnson & Johnson made their billions. So now the CDC new guidelines, if you go on their website, on my Rumble channel, I used to go on the website all the time and show them, like, this is what the CDC actually says, but this is not what Fauci and these bureaucratic supposed doctors, bureaucrats in lab coats, as I call them, are saying. But the CDC, if you go on their website today, it says, if you get COVID-19, treat it like the common cold. And then when it talks about the vaccine, it says it doesn't prevent the spread or getting it. Basically they're admitting it doesn't work. And yes, they claim it's rare. There are rare cases of myocarditis. Remember, these top cardiologists came out and says it causes myocarditis. It causes heart problems, stroke, and the younger you are, the more dangerous. And they said young people shouldn't even take it because they're at the lowest risk. They're like at a 0.1 risk of getting a serious effect from this disease. But if they take the jab, they're like a 10%, which is what they call a rare 10% risk of having a heart attack or a stroke. You see, LeBron James' kid had a heart attack. I don't know if it was a heart attack or a stroke at 18. My son's friend had a stroke at 29. And I worked with a couple guys that had heart attacks. And I'm talking all within like 24 hours of getting a jab. So I'm debating if I could even post this. I didn't mean to talk about all this. I just wanted to say how interesting it was that Travis Kelce liked this post when his girlfriend hates Donald Trump. But people change. I kind of got off track. People do change because Taylor Swift was very upset that the George Soros family bought all of her music. I don't know the politics of that or why they would do it, but she was really mad that they bought it. I don't know how they did it, but they bought all her music and she was mad. So maybe she started waking up to like, okay, wait a minute, what is going on here? Now, what's going on with that? I don't know. Why would they want that music? I don't know. But George Soros is the guy that it's been confirmed. George Soros, Bill Gates, the Rockefellers are the ones giving the money to these Hamas supporters on all these college campuses. And they were the same people that were giving the bricks to the Black Lives Matters guys during the summer before the last presidential election. You notice the Democrats always rise up riots before elections for some reason. You remember there were a pallet of bricks and we found out it was being funded. The Soros, for some reason, the Soros Foundation was having bricks delivered at night to all these places where these rioters were throwing bricks through windows in LA and New York and Oregon and all these places where they took over, like these Hamas supporters are taking over the college campuses. So maybe people are waking up. I mean, Chris Cuomo's waking up. Joe Rogan voted for Bernie Sanders, and now he's a solid Trump supporter. So there's sincere people. That's why we can't, call everybody evil, And that's what I always used to say. I think I heard it from Ronald Reagan, actually. He said, Republicans think Democrats are dumb, and Democrats think Republicans are evil. And that's always been the case. They always think like we're so evil and mean, we're heartless. And we just thought they were dumb, useful idiots. But sometimes they're just misinformed and they're just around the wrong people. And once they realize the truth, they change. So people change. Now, I know a lot of you guys hate when I get all political, but I just thought this was interesting. And, it's important to vote for the right guy. So I want to keep you guys informed of what's going on out there. Since I am a news nerd and I'm always picking up on these little stories here and there. But I do plan on a lot of good Catholic videos coming up. I want to do a recap of my interview with David L. Gray and some things we said to each other off camera and some things that I need to explain better, because you only can say a certain amount of stuff within, an hour. So that was the original video I was going to make this morning before I got to my first stop, because there's a traffic jam. So I would be sitting in traffic this whole time. So I figured let me make a quick video. But I seen these couple news stories on my feed this morning, so I thought it would be interesting. So anyhow, If you haven't seen that David L. Gray video I did with him, go on his channel, David L. Gray. Go on the live, and I think I'm the first one up there live. I think I was his last live show. Check it out. It's really interesting, really cool guy. I really enjoyed it. I think he's sincere. We disagree on a couple things you'll see on there, and I'm gonna talk more about that on my video. But I generally like him. He's the kind of guy I could hang out with. I could see us hanging out in the schoolyard, getting in trouble together back in the day. So God bless and stay Catholic.